The opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Eastlink Community TV, its sponsors, or partners.
Welcome to Breton Connects on Eastlink Community TV. I'm your host, Cecil Clark, and I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Bruce Hatcher here in the beautiful community of Iona on the Bedore Lakes. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mayor Clark. Glad to be here with you.
So you have probably one of the most beautiful offices to go to every day and work with your colleagues. Can you explain to the viewers just a glimpse of what you do and why it's so important?
Well, the first thing is that it's only my office about one day a week, and the other time I'm in a garage trying to make various pieces of equipment work or analyze data or work with students or file reports. So I wish it were my office here, but I get here as often as I can, and the reason for that is because this is an ecosystem that's worth studying, that has had remarkably little attention in modern times. And so there are more unknown unknowns than there are known unknowns. And there are many things that we know that don't seem to apply now because of how fast climate is changing, including the climate of the estuary.
Right, and so with that whole estuary, research and applied sciences, we see a startup company looking at how to make an impact. For the viewers, what is at risk? What does the climate impact mean for this ecosystem that you've been researching and participating in and wanting to protect and improve, obviously?
It means change. And in natural, healthy ecosystems, change is a fact of life. It's essential. And this particular ecosystem has gone through 3 major ice ages, has had freshwater and saltwater and freshwater. And so it's no stranger to change. And I do not see climate change as a threat to the existence or the life of the Bedore Lake ecosystem. It's the humans who are having trouble adapting and who are going to be affected by changes in this lake ecosystem that are uncomfortable for them. Whether it be the most obvious one, erosion of shoreline, and I've measured a 327% increase in the amount of armoring of shorelines in East Bay alone. In the Bedore Lake, people basically, protecting their land from not just rising level of water, but increased erosion from waves as we get winter storms with little or no ice on the surface of the lake. And so without a lid, those big waves can attack shores that normally, because our wind directions are different in wintertime, normally don't get attacked by waves. And that's one of many things. We have invasive species that find the conditions of the estuary better now than they were maybe even only 20 years ago, since I started working here. And I think it's not so much about managing the risk to the lake. It's about managing the risks to ourselves by not behaving well as members, as organisms within this ecosystem.
So in terms of stewardship of the environment, with your work and your colleagues, I see, doing that, applied research. And so for the average person, this is all new to me. It's fascinating, but it's almost, so detailed and complex to try and understand. But from a simplistic point of view, what ultimately are your goals and all of your associates with this whole biosphere?
Well, the goal is to sustain or maintain the Breton Lake biosphere, which includes not just the 1,200 square kilometer lake surface, that's about 33 cubic kilometers of water, and the 2,400 square kilometers of land in the watershed, uh, but to sustain it so that it can respond and adapt to our changing climate.
Right.
And also to our changing societal needs. The things we ask of this ecosystem now differ from in the past. They're not mining limestone in Marble Mountain anymore for the steel mills. But Marble Mountain has things to offer and communities to support. And we wish to see a healthy existence of human communities. And given the relatively low population density in the Biosphere Reserve, an increase in population, but needs to be the right kind of an increase and the right kind of population, and that's difficult. And it's a social science thing as much as it is a natural science thing. And as a natural scientist, you know, I came here in 2004 to take up the chair in marine ecosystem research at Cape Breton University, and I've worked here in this ecosystem longer than I have in any other one in my life. And I feel that I'm now in a position to be asking some good questions. It takes a long time to work at the level of an entire ecosystem and to do research that addresses questions. So one of the big questions about this ecosystem is the productivity of the things that we make use of, lobster, oysters, scallops, salmon, is the productivity of the estuary that we harvest or enjoy. We just had a dive over there in one of the best dive sites in the entire lakes in the Barra Strait, and the camera was swamped by fish. So what is determining the changes we're seeing in the populations of fish and
Right.
crustaceans and mollusks, you know, the various creatures that live here? And a concern that I do have is that even over the 20 years I've been here, I have seen a decline in the productivity across the board, with a couple of exceptions, of most of these populations in the lake. And I'm asking, what is the reason for that? I can say quite confidently, it's not human pollution. It's not that we are doing major damage to the habitat of these species. In some cases, we have overexploited those species. In other cases, invasive pests, parasites, both in terrestrial and marine systems, have attacked and, in the case of oysters, pretty much eliminated a fishery there. So there's no single answer. So, you know, going forward, the challenge for science here, and it's one of the reasons I'm enthused about the Arrowsnum Center. One of the first things John Harker asked me to do when I came here was to work with the people who were trying to get the House of the Sea going down here in the Barra Strait, and see how the university could assist with that, you know?
Which is a great segue to the fact that the center is here. So the House of the Sea, as it says above the door, come explore and come to the shores of Iona, the shores of Bador, and see the phenomenal work and your passion. And to have this as their office view, even for about a matter of time or a day,
Right,
but
right.
something you'll definitely want to come back. And also, I think it's creating that broader awareness and that connectivity. It's immediate here with the waters, and so it's a rare opportunity, and it's one that I'm sure you would say to the viewers that they should tune in for.
Yeah, this is the geographic center of the Bredor Lake ecosystem. It's the place where all of the basin on the northern side of the lake and St. Andrews Channel and East Bay where all of that connects to the southern part of the lake, which includes East Bay, West Bay, and the Great Lake, if you wish, Denny's Basin, Malagawach. The only water connection between those two is right here, the Barra Strait. So in terms of a place to establish a research station, a place where people, not just from Cape Breton University, but from universities across Nova Scotia and across Canada, and indeed the world. We had a group from Scotland here recently, can come to study a healthy, intact estuarine ecosystem in a very feasible and logistically easy way. This is not a big boat. It's not an expensive boat to operate and run, and yet there's nowhere in the Bredor Lake, and there's no day that I can't work in the Bredor Lake. And most of the places, I just drive up and launch the boat and do my work. I don't have to have a big vessel that I sleep on and we motor up and down, from here to there.
Well, I want to thank you for all the work you do, and thank you for taking some time out of your day to talk to us and the viewers on Cape Breton Connects. Again, thank you so much, and thanks to applied technology and what it can do to improve our ecosystem. And welcome back to Cape Breton Connects on Eastlink Community TV. I'm your host, Cecil Clark, with Ben Slotnick. Ben, you're here doing some very innovative and cutting edge and leading edge technology. So I'm just wondering if you can explain to the viewers how this relates to the environment and new technologies applying to dealing with some of the impacts of climate change and human impact.
Well, first of all, thanks for interviewing me. Thanks for allowing us to be part of your network. Very happy to be part of Cape Breton. This is really becoming our home. What we're here to do is help clean the lake using the innovative technology you're mentioning. We're Liliana Technologies, a company that's named after my two daughters, Lillian and Hannah, because we're here for to make the world a better place for our kids and our kids' kids. Behind us, we're manufacturing our own photobioreactors. These are complicated boxes, but they're kind of simple. We're mimicking sunlight. That's what this light is, UV range of light. And also the PVC pipe you see in the back pushes air in so they can breathe. It's just oxygen and light. And then you get microscopic plants that grow inside that are native to the area, and we release them.
How did you get to exploring this? Like, was this your scientific idea or, from research or applied sciences that you wanted to try to commercialize?
I've spent 20 years in geology. I have a PhD from Rice University and have actually published a number of papers on what I think is the best analog for what humans are doing today. That is the Eocene hypothermals. 57 to 52 million years ago, the Earth released a lot of carbon, more than what humans have released since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. All the publications that are out there, thousands of which, show that the oceans acidified, a lot of life died, but there is a recovery. It's all in the rock record. Understanding all of that, coupled with what a couple of industries that are productive and successful out there, like oil and gas, in terms of where does all that carbon go, how can it be utilized, is the basis of our technology. We've developed it in-house and actually filed a couple patents because it's our own technology and we're first to market.
So you got a team of 6, I think you were telling me, working on this.
Yeah.
This is being as a startup and the investment process. So this is a big venture to take on. You've got to do a lot of heavy lifting to take something on this. And then again, explain why here in Iona and on the Bredor Lakes.
Well, we started the company back in 2021. We actually just hit our 4-year anniversary. And during that time, we've learned a lot. When we started, we wanted to hit the biggest river in North America that was most polluted, the Mississippi River. Although we were successful in our releases, we learned fast that that is not the right place to start. And as we developed a better understanding of the right bays, the right estuaries, the right deltas, and the right near-shore environments to operate out of, we came to the Bredor Lakes. It's the largest inland sea in all of North America, and it provides a very unique approach, increasing the likelihood that our technology will function correctly and be successful. From here, which we can use as the basis for everything, We can then take it to a number of different coastal localities around the world because humans tend to live close to the ocean. Anywhere you are downstream of human activity, you tend to see some form of pollution. Our microscopic algae that we grow biofiltrate or clean the waterways by removing those unwanted forms of nitrogen, phosphorus, items like that.
So if you're bringing in your supply stock, what's the processing time on average?
Days to a couple of weeks. And so to get one of these fully grown, ready for deployment at full capacity, 48 to 72 hours. A good example of this is although these are microscopic plants, think about the tree that's in your front yard. How long does it take to double in size? Does it take a couple of days?
That's right.
It takes a couple of decades, right? But with phytoplankton, what we grow, it only takes 8 to 72 hours for them to double in size. That's a phenomenal growth rate. If you're going to do something that'll help out the climate, you have to do something that has a very fast growth rate. And these are in essence plants. They're just so small you can't see them with your naked eye.
Right.
And they grow so fast.
So ultimately you're taking technology, science, applying it so that our ecosystem and dealing with those pressures of not just environmental but human impact on our biosphere here is one that'll produce better outcomes and hopefully commercially be financially successful for you and your team and the company. So Ben, I want to thank you for taking the time with us and just giving us some insight on the exciting things that are happening on the shores of the Breton. Welcome back. Joining me now is Ocean Lee, the Vice President of the Multicultural Association of Cape Breton, and so thrilled to have you on this episode, Ocean Lee. Welcome.
It's phenomenal to be here.
So the Sydney Public Market, tell us a little bit about the history and how this has evolved in our community.
You know, it started with a small group of dedicated team last year that wanted to create a community of sorts. So we decided to have like a multicultural market to celebrate newcomers coming into the community, but also to allow them to be leaders in their own right and to connect with the local community. So we had a wonderful space at the Eldwick Arts Center, and we had our Muku market there last summer. And it was such a huge success that we were trying to find a space that was going to be downtown for a permanent space. So on our second year, we decided to have a new location, which we found here at 222 Charlotte Street. And we decided to have more of an inclusive name. So we changed it to the Sydney Public Market. And we're really thrilled to be downtown and to support the great team of retail stores here.
Right. Well, Sydney Public Market speaks for what the name says. But Muku Market was a real cool name. Could you explain what that stood for?
Yeah, Muku Market was awesome. The name was fantastic. M-U, was multi, and C-U, cultural. So being able to call it the Muku Market last year was just phenomenal. But then we wanted to have a more of an inclusive name, so we used Sydney Public Market. And our logo is a buoy, which is actually a reflection of a mural that's located on the building. It's a Gordon MacDonald building, and his buoy was yellow and black, so we wanted to incorporate that with the buildings.
You can't miss it. You can't miss the market in the downtown of Charlotte Street in Sydney. The vibrancy, people setting up, getting ready for the people to come and to purchase. So there's a whole variety. Can you explain sort of the types of vendors that you have every week? Yeah,
we're really excited because we're really giving a really diverse and supportive amount of vendors that's going to be in the space. So we have newcomers. We have Nanakshi, which is Antonia Mary from Mexico. We have Paulina, who has done our sunset mural in the space. She's the newcomer, been in Cape Breton for about 8 months now, and she's an incredible artist back home. So being able to showcase her talents here, and she sells her artwork at the market, incorporating that with local talents here. So we have Len from Blue Heron Farm. We have Shelby and Russ from Red Rooster Farm, who are great producers, but by day they're paramedics couple, both of them paramedic couple working those shifts. And on the weekends, they're farmers.
So what you highlight is that people have a passion for doing this. This is more than just a need to do something, it's a want to do it, and something that drives them to be connected with their community in a different way. And you also connect with the community through the Cape Breton Food Hub. Can you explain that partnership how that
Absolutely.
connects to your facility in the public market in downtown Sydney.
The Sydney Public Market loves to collaborate, and we think that that's the great way to be able to make really great social change. So being able to collaborate with the Food Hub by having our market as their pickup location in Sydney, which is every Thursday. So when you order from the Food Hub online, you're supporting farmers and producers from all across the island, including Tim from Time For You Farm and Blue Heron Farm and Red Rooster that are part of the Food Hub. And then the locals are able to order online and pick it up at the Sydney Public Market.
Yep. So, that whole food safety, locally grown and provided, and it's just building the economy out, and also it's connecting relationships. It really brings people together. It's an interesting thing about food.
Yeah.
It's one of those universal common things, and we're seeing that diversification in terms of the types of restaurants we have. Can you explain a little bit about the Whale House just down the street?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much for asking. So the Whale House is located on 14th Wentworth Street. It's located right across your office at the municipal building. It's a building you can't miss because around the whole building is a beautiful mural done by Peter Steele. We have an orca, we have a tuna, so it's a very beautiful building. But housed inside, every single day is a new cultural experience. So for example, Monday we have Scenario that does African delicious kitchen. We have Thursday, Pam does Greek and Lebanese food. We have Wednesday, Vietnamese food. So every day is a new culture. So you don't need a passport to travel around the world. You can actually go to the Whale House and have international food every single day. So we're excited to be able to have that build to help newcomers incubate, and also a spot where locals can also be able to incubate their business. One thing that we found doing the Muku market last summer was newcomers love the market and love the community. They just want to be here, but they had some challenges with incorporating with the community. So being able to have newcomers part of the market and part of the Whale House, where they're not only participants, but they're leaders by showcasing the culture, and what you're saying is food, because food really does tie everything together. An exciting program that we offer now in collaboration with Feed Nova Scotia is we're using the offering cooks to be able, with our volunteers and the volunteers of Meals on Wheels, to come together to learn how to cook some delicious, nourishing soups. And we're going to freeze those soups and put them around pantries around CBRM. And this way, it's a great way where we get to use the products of the farmers and producers, the skills of the cooks and the volunteers in our communities together.
It's all about community, just building community and being stronger and more diverse and vibrant. But one of the things that always drives an organization are volunteers, and I think you're no different. You've got a lot of people volunteering. On my way here today, I saw people putting out signs to tell people the market is open for business. Can you speak to the number of volunteers you have?
Oh, absolutely. We have registered over 75 volunteers. Last year at the Muku market, we had volunteers coming at 6 o'clock in the morning to bring the tables and tents from the gymnasium of the building in New Dawn down the hill, setting it up, and the market started at 10, so it was 4 hours. This year, we're really excited because we have a new space. Our market opens at 10, but we only need about 2 hours to set up for the market. So you see these wonderful volunteers setting up the tents and tables and making sure that the vendors are in their right place. Also, it's a really great way for the newcomers and volunteers to network and really expand their network here in Cape Breton, because a lot of them are international students that are looking for meaningful connections. A lot of them potentially are on an open work permit or have decided to move here from Ontario or Quebec. So being able to have a space where they can communicate, especially newcomers that are learning English, they get to practice their English by saying, welcome to the Sydney Public Market, and being able to have a space for them to practice their English and network.
Well, look, success begets success, and this is one success on top of another, and it's not just isolated to one location at the Sydney Public Market, because it's growing throughout our community, and our community is growing as a result of that. And I want to thank you and your entire team in the Multicultural Association for being part of our community. Thank you, Ocean.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the Mayor, Cecil Clark, CBRM, for really supporting the Sydney Public Market. Appreciate it very much.